us to give light to the world. Let us pray together with the prayer the Lord taught us. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive us our sins. Lord, lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Let me invite Dr. Mrs. J. Preeti, the organizing secretary of the webinar, to propose welcome address.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm extremely happy to welcome you all for the second day of the webinar on research publication with special reference to citation, impact factor, and H index. I'm glad to welcome our Reverend Sister Dr. B. J. Quincy Jayanti, the Secretary and Mother Superior, Jayara Jannabakim College, who is known for sincerity and perfection. I welcome you, Sister. I consider it a great honor to welcome Reverend Sister Dr. S. Jesurani, the Principal, Jayara Jannabakim College, who leads us with kindness and encourages us to involve in various activities to develop our knowledge. I welcome you, Sister. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome our resource person, Dr. A. Umesh Shambil, Dean and Associate Professor in Social Work, Bishop Heber College, Trichy. He is the one who has the credit of having received the first PhD degree from Bharatidasan University in Social Work discipline in 1995. He has completed 33 years of experience in teaching. He has authored 3 books, namely Recent Trends in Social Science Research, a handbook on software for social science research, and Recent Trends in Humanities and Social Sciences. He has received many awards from Tamil Nadu state government for various social activities. He received recently International Best Researcher in Social Work. He has guided 29 PhD candidates. It's an honor to have such an eminent person among us today. We welcome you, sir. I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Sister R. Fatima Mary Sylvia, the convener, who actively participates and takes part in all activities which enhances mind, skills, and ability to achieve greater. I welcome you, Sister. I'm honored to welcome Dr. Sister Joshita, Head and Assistant Professor of Computer Science, who is the backbone for the success of the seminar. We extremely thank you for the support which is extended by you behind the screen. We welcome you, Sister. I'm delighted to welcome all the participants from various colleges all over India and your willingness to receive knowledge during this lockdown period. We welcome you wholeheartedly once again. Thank you.
Dear participants, kindly follow the instructions. You can give your wishes and appreciation only after the resource person cleared all the queries. Before that, type only queries. Today, attendance cum feedback link will be posted in the chat box before 15 minutes of the session to wind up. After filling the feedback form, you will get certificates. Now, I hand over the session to the resource person.
Thank you, Sister. Pleasant good evening to one and all gathered here. I'd like to thank from the bottom of my heart the principal, the chairman, and especially the convener, Sister Reverend Fatima Mary, for having invited me to share my knowledge on publication with special reference to citation, impact factor, and H index. So it gives me immense pleasure in presenting my views on this. Let me go to the slide so that it will be easy for you to follow it up. Are you able to see it? Are you able to see it? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
I'll proceed, ma'am. Thank you. Thank
you
you.
are
Sir.
audible and your screen also visible, sir.
Visible. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So whenever we talk about research publication, normally we need to know the base for that, the citation index, or it may be a impact factor or H index. All these terms comes at the background, the term called bibliometrics. Now, if you say what is bibliography, it's metric. Biblio means books and metrics means a measure. So bibliometric means application of studies in library and information sciences. And it's a set of methods to quantitatively scientific and technological literature. And there are two parts in bibliometrics. One is, we call it as content analysis, and another one we call it as that citation analysis. So we are going to see more on citation analysis. Now, if you see that particular slides, all researcher, we are in a stage of qualm and quandary because there are a lot of publications, and similarly, there are a lot of criticism also. And as a researcher, most of the time, whether you do your PhD program or MPhil program, even at the postgraduate level, or as an individual researcher, when you want to conduct a research study, and after completion of you want to publish it in a good journal or peer-reviewed journal, sometimes what happens, we have a lot of apprehension because some of the journal, they call it as a predatory journal, or in other words, it's called as a substandard journal. So there's a lot of confusion prevailing in the minds of the researcher, which one is considered to be the good one or quality one, whether our articles are published in a quality journal or a substandard journal. Sometimes when you pay, then immediately maybe 1 or 2 months, then that particular article is published like that. So there are a lot of do's and don'ts and a lot of criticism prevailing in the minds of researcher. Now, before going into the details of that, let me say a few terms that will be often used in our research. Now, often we talked about index journal. Okay, what is the meaning of the term index journal? Is to say that it's where it provides various databases such as PubMed, Scopus, and what happens when you go for an index journal, normally people say that you have a minimum standard that has been fulfilled. And followed by, you have the term H index. Now, I'll be dealing it later in detail. What is H index? H index is an author level metric that attempts to measure both productivity and the citation impact of the publication of a scientist or a scholar. So H index is refers to its individual based or the research based. Now, there is also another term often we used in research, peer reviewed, whether have your articles published in peer reviewed journal, or sometimes they call it a refereed journal. See, these are the different terms used by the researcher in order to ascertain whether their articles are published in a quality journal. Okay. So what is a peer review? You know that peer means the experts in that particular area. They sit together when you submit your article. They find out whether the article has attained the minimum standards. Okay, the minimum expected standards. Whether the article has got some quality. So that is what was decided by a group of people. Normally we call it a peer review, where they are expert in that particular area, expert in a particular specialization. And ultimately what happens, once the peer review process is over, then you will be receiving a communication that now your article has been ready to publish. So this is a term normally we use it. And another term, important term, normally we come across is that SJR. Now, what is SJR? That is the number of citations received by a journal and the importance. Sometimes when you publish a particular article in a renowned journal, then people say that your article is high quality. That's why it has been accepted and published. Normally, I belong to social science discipline and social work, where when our articles are published in British Journal of Social Work, published by Oxford Journal, then that's supposed to be the good one. Likewise, the prestige of a journal, the reputation of the journal has been ranked with SJR. This is a term often we'll be coming across. And another term, okay, is there any difference between Scopus and SJR? Now, you know that anyhow, Scopus, I'll be dealing it later. To give you some input on Scopus, it says that it's an abstracting and a citation database owned by Elsevier, an international publication group, just like Web of Science or Google Scholar. Scopus also provides citation information. And when you talk about SJR, it makes use of the data supplied by Scopus, which covers over 36,000 journals, and they try to rank it. Now, I'll move on to our main theme. What is citation? Okay. Now, citation is a reference to a published or unpublished source. And if you take citation, it is acknowledging the relevance of the works of others to the topic of discussion at the spot where the citation appears. Why do you expect citation? See, whenever you select a research project, normally we go for review of literature. And we try to identify some research based on the review of literature. At that time, we'll see whether some researcher has done some research in this particular area. That is going to be an eye-opener for you. And that makes the researcher to improvise and narrow down your research problem or narrow down your research topic. Now, when you see so many people are quoting that particular terminology or terms, which means that terms has been attracted in that particular discipline because it has been cited by many researchers. So that is the reason why whenever we take the term citation, we try to acknowledge the author who has contributed for that. Now, basically, the primary purpose of citation is intellectual honesty. Okay, so you are going to say that this is the work I have taken from this particular researcher. You give some importance to that particular person because it's his own contribution. And whether it's a reference material, support the author's argument in the claimed way. Okay, so this is the simple meaning for the term citation. Now, what is citation analysis? Now, if you talk about citation analysis, when one author cites another author, a relationship is established. Probably some similarity in terms of their research area. Maybe the topic of investigation, maybe the research problem. Some connectivity is there. Therefore, he or she is able to cite the activities or phenomena used. Now, citation analysis uses citation in a scholarly work to establish link. And many different links can be ascertained under citation analysis, such as between authors, between scholarly works, between journals, between fields, or even between countries. Now, citation is to determine the impact of a single author on a given field by counting the number of times the author has been cited by others. If your research work has been cited by many researchers, which means that particular topic has got lot of impact or importance that can be ascertained, because everyone is using that your work, which means what happens, that particular topic of investigation is giving a lot of importance in your own field. There's an advantages. Okay, then next we'll move on to why we need citation analysis. Is it required as a researcher? Basically, to find out how much impact a particular article has. Now, sometimes we'll be asking whether I have to publish an article in this journal or and that journal, whether it is a substandard. Everything will be ascertained based on the number of citations you receive from other researchers. If your research is not that much good, automatically you get a lesser citation. Okay, even the topic which you have selected for your research, if it is important, definitely many people may cite your area of investigation. So that's the first one. The second one, to find out more about a field or a topic, to get to know more about the topic of investigation, going deeper into the aspect. Sometimes we try to identify the research gap. Normally in research, we talk about one of the steps is review of literature, where we try to identify what are the gaps that are available in that particular topic of investigation, and we try to identify the areas of unexplored, and we try to probe more into the details. Thereby, we are going to get new findings in that particular research. Okay, for that, this will be useful. And the next will be to determine how much impact a particular author has. Whether if you are having a lot of citation, which means that you are an important person, you are a very good researcher, that can be ascertained. We need not tell others, but your work, when it is being cited by others, that much importance will be given to you as a good researcher. So this is a importance of citation analysis. And normally there are two major citation measures are talked about: H-index and impact factor. I'll be dealing in detail later a part of my presentation. Now we talk about citation, simultaneously what is a reference. Now reference means identify reasons for citing and quoting references in a research study. Okay, why do you cite or why do you give references? Now, the first, giving homage to the pioneer. We try to recognize the work of the previous researcher who has contributed a lot to that particular topic. Because whenever we talk about research, it is a scientific method of eliciting the fact. It should be focused. So you try to acknowledge the person who has contributed to that particular area in your own discipline. Then the second, giving credit for related work. Rather, we call it as homage to press. And the third important is that identifying methodology or identifying the equipments, so that the researcher will be in a better position to understand the topic of inquiry or the research problem with which he wanted to proceed further. And it provides background reading. Perhaps as a researcher at the initial stage, we'll be having some limited knowledge on that particular area. And when you go for referencing, see many citations in that particular topic, perhaps you get a broader perspective and better understanding of your scientific inquiry. So also correcting one's own work. Probably at the initial stage, we may think of something else, but after going through a lot of references, perhaps you will be in a better position to have the clarity of your own investigation or the scientific inquiry, or about knowing more about your research problem. Okay, so then correcting the works of others. As I said earlier, sometimes we do accept, maybe our findings will be coincide with the findings of other researchers who have taken the same topic. You can see some congruence. Sometimes there may be some incongruence also that can also be identified. when another person citing that. Okay. Then the next, criticizing previous work and adding adding quality and innovation. Sometimes you may think that the particular work is not up to the mark. You have better clarity on that. You can also say that, okay, this particular area covers only this. These are the areas that are unexplored, and this particular research has certain limitations that can also be identified. And another thing, according to Fernando, he said substantiating the claim. You can be assertive because you have a lot of citations, you have a lot of references in this particular, you are a well-informed person, you have a lot of competency in that particular area, thereby you can substantiate, you can give a justification for that. Then altering to forthcoming work. Perhaps if you identify some of the lacuna or pitfall or some of the drawback or demerits, that can be identified and that can be rectified in future research also, or even future publication, we can rectify that. That is also possible. And providing leads to poorly disseminated or poorly indexed or uncited work. So you will be in a better position to have an analytical ability. That is why in most of the researchers, they'll be asking about, am I publishing in a good journal? Can you suggest some of the good journals to publish? Whether my article is supposed to be the good or average or poor or excellent. See, all these things can be ascertained whenever you go for a citation analysis based on referencing. Okay, you refer a lot of books, definitely you will get a clear-cut idea. Because once I read a particular article, I'll be in a better position to comment on that particular article. Whether it is a good, or it's very good, or it is outstanding or excellent, or it may be also other way around. Okay, average, or maybe we can call it as a poor or very poor. Okay, we have our own analytical abilities that can also be done. And authenticating data and classes of factual physical constant. So we can arrive at some conclusion based on that. And the next will be identifying original publication in which an idea or concept was discussed. Sometimes that may be an eye-opener for you whenever you go for a lot of referencing, and sometimes disclaiming the work or ideas of others. So not necessary that it may be in the positive direction. Sometimes it may also in the negative direction. You have your own justification for refute the particular statement. Because you are also doing research in this area and somebody would have also conducted research. There are certain areas where you agreed upon and there are certain areas you have your own apprehension or disagreement. And lastly, disputing priority claims of others. It is also considered to be a negative claim. Now, I'll move on to the next important thing often talked about, what is H index. Now, the H index was suggested by George Hirsch, and hence it's called H index. And H index attempts to measure both the productivity and the impact of the published work of a scientist or a scholar. So H index is basically, it's on the part of the researcher or the scientist. It gives the measurement. The H index is based on the scientist's most cited papers and the number of citations that they have received in other publications. Basically, the H index is calculated based on two parameters. Number one, most cited papers. Excuse me, sorry. Number two, whether they have received citation from other publication also. The H index can be applied to productivity impact of a group of scientists, such as a department or university or a country. That can also be done under H index. Now, you're seeing a diagram, okay? So a scientist has index H if H of his number of papers have at least H citation each, and the other number of papers minus H papers have no more than H citation. If you see this, article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 8, and the article 6 has got 6 H index. So that has taken as a H index. If you see this, then you'll get more clarity on H index. Now you see there is a cutoff point. Okay, the cutoff point is there. Then you say that when the cutoff point is reached there, you say that that is the number where you can say H. And sometimes if you have more publications, more citations, then you say that more than H citation. Okay, so the H index gives you a cutoff point. Maybe here in this example I have given as 6, number 6. Now we'll see what are the citation database. Now citation database are analyzed with the help of citation index, a kind of bibliographic database, and an index of citation between publication. The major citation bases often used under research is Web of Science, Scopus, Google Scholar, Indian Citation Index. Now we'll move on to what is Web of Science. Web of Science has got more than 17 databases, including Web of Science, then SCI, Science Citation Index, then SSCI, Social Science Citation Index, and A and HCI, Arts and Humanities Citation Index, can be searched simultaneously in Web of Knowledge. Web of Knowledge is formerly known as ISI, and you know that, as you know that Web of Knowledge provided by Thomson Reuters. Now it's called a Clarivate Analytics. And Web of Knowledge covers the science, social sciences, arts, and humanities. It provides bibliographic content and tool to access, analyze, and manage research information. Then, the Web of Science helps to quickly find, analyze, share information in the sciences, social sciences, arts, and humanities. It gives integrated access to high quality literature. Because once you publish your article in the Web of Science journal, automatically the quality of your article is enhanced, because it's supposed to be the standard. Normally, whatever product we get, if you're going to get a cell phone, or if you're going to get any TV or fridge, anything, we see the brand image. Okay, we see the quality, which particular brand has a marketability. Not only that, quality in terms of its functioning. Therefore, when your article is published in Web of Science as well as in Scopus, and invariably it is considered to be a quality article. Okay, so now authoritatively multidisciplinary content covers more than 21,177 of journals and books and conference paper, and yet around 14,500, and highest impact journals are worldwide, including open access journal. And I given some statistics. Now recently there is a change in that particular area also. Now this is a site where you can go and you can search the journal list, or sometimes the title of the topic, or even the title of the journal, then you can access it. Now, as per now, if you are an academician, now people talk about the UGC CARE journal, where Web of Science and Scopus are given much importance in terms of publishing a good articles. Even if you are going to submit your synopsis, they ask, have you published your articles in Web of Science or Scopus or UGC reflected journals? Okay, just I give some of the example of that. In case population study, you have the list for each and every discipline. You can have the list of journals based on that, depending upon your topic of investigation. you can select a particular journal that is suiting to your topic, you can publish it. Sometimes why our articles are not published in the journal, because we select the wrong journal. Perhaps our topic is not considered to be the trust area of that particular journal. Always remember that you need to know the trust area, the important area which the particular journal is expecting of from the researcher to contribute. Once you see that author's perspective or journal's expectation, then you can easily publish your article in the relevant journals. Now, I'll move on to the next database. We call it a Scopus. It's a bibliographic database provided by Elsevier. It contains abstracts, citations for academic journals, and it covers nearly more than 21,000 titles from over 5,000 publishers, of which 20,000 are peer-reviewed journals in the scientific, technical, medical, and social sciences, including arts and humanities. Now, just I given some of the examples for take for example mathematics. Now you have a list of journals. So as a researcher, you have the liberty to identify which journal is pertaining to your topic of investigation. If you want to publish an article, you see that your topic fit into this particular journal. That has been decided only by the researcher, so that your article will be well received. Sometimes we send an article to some other journal which they don't have the trust area. Unfortunately, sometimes your article may not be published in that particular journal. Then I'll move on to the another database. We call it as a Google Scholar. It is freely accessible, web search engine, and it a full text or journal article or technical reports and books, everything we can include it. So there is also, you can add automatically or sometimes manually you can add your article. And Google Scholar ranks the full text of each articles. The author, the publication in which the article appears, and how often the piece has been cited in other scholarly literature. Google Scholar automatically calculates and displays individual total citation counts, H-index as well as I-10 index. Top citation in a field of interest can also be accessed. Okay, you can have your own Google Scholar and you can see your individual credibility in that. Now, you see this is just, you can see citation 56, H-index 4, you can see in that maybe the right side, automatically it is generated, and you see a particular paper, a comparative study of social work students in India and UK, and it is cited by 23 researcher, though it is published in the year 2014. See all these details with the graphical presentation, you are able to access, you are able to say as an individual researcher, what is the credibility in terms of your publication. That can be well really revealed through the Google Scholar. That is one of the advantages. Then next I'll move on to the citation index. The citation index launched in the year 2009. It's the first of its kind in India, and it's an online bibliographic database containing abstract citation references. It covers data from 2004, including more than 780 plus journals in scientific, technical, medical, and social science published in India. ICI comparing more than one institution in terms of contribution, that is the total article published, subject area, and the number of citation reviews, details about the author and their contributions, article published and citation, everything you can see that. So this is this is a site of Indian Citation Index. Just for your reference, as I'm showing this. Then we'll move on to the next important area called impact factor. Often we see that you could see a lot of impact factors have been said by many of the journals, and some of the journal we call it a predatory journal or substandard journal. Now, when you talk about impact factor, the background of the impact factor is a device by Eugene Garfield, calculated as number of citation to a journal for the previous 2 years divided by the number of articles published in those years. Okay, how impact factor has been calculated. If you see example in 2012, okay, A is the number of times that article published in a journal previous 2 years, maybe 2010 and 11. 2012, we can calculate the impact factor. The term B refers to the total number of citable items published by that journal during 2010 and 11. So the formula for calculating impact factor is that A divided by B. The note that 2012 impact factors are published in 2013, and I like to caution, impact factor is a journal metric and should not be used to assess individual researcher or institution. Okay, whenever we talk about impact factor, we talk about only about the journal, not about the researcher, not about the institution. It talks about only the journal metric. That should be taken into consideration. Now, the same thing, you see it is a formula wise, the total number of times its article were cited during the previous 2 years divided by the total number of citable articles in the journal during those 2 years. That gives you the impact factor. Now, if you see this particular image, you can see how it is being calculated. Now, if you see that the item, the cites in 2012 to the item published in 2011 and 2010. So approximately it is 31,102. In 2010, the number of cited item is that 34,624. And number of item published in 2001, it's 841. And 2010 is 862. When you add this number, you get the number of 1,703. Whereas if you add sites item published 2011 and 11 and 10, it is 65,731. That is considered to be A, and 1,702 considered to be a B. Sites to the recent item, number of recent items. That gives you the impact factor, maybe 38.59. This is a journal. Normally, the science we talk about, the Nature is supposed to be the good journal. You can also calculate the impact factor for the past 5 years. That can also be done. Now, if, for example, you take, for example, for 5 years, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010 and 11, and you see the item published, and on the other hand, the number of items published in 2011, 10, 9, 8, 7. So that comes around 4,309. And A divided by B, you get the impact factor. This is what we use the formula and calculate impact factor. And this is, we call it as with high impact factor. And often the researcher will be asking, many of the researchers have asked me, how to publish our article in a good journal. Okay, that is the reason why I explained about peer-reviewed journals or refereed journals. The most important thing is that the researcher or the person who wants to publish their article, first they have to go through the journal, the number of articles published in that area. By reading those, you may get a first-hand information about the quality of that particular journal. whether it is a good journal or whether it is a substandard journal or whether it is an excellent journal. Probably Web of Science and Scopus are considered to be the best database, and we can use that. And whenever there will be a lot of journals are available, even in Scopus and even in Web of Science. How to choose a journal as a researcher? First, take a particular journal, go through the trust area, the importance areas that have been given by that particular journal. And once you see that whether your article and the content of your article fit into that particular journal. Okay, perhaps no, for example, in social sciences, now I'm interested to publish an article related to children. Now I have to search for a journal where the children have been given importance in that particular journal. The trust area is for research studies related to children, or research studies related to women, or research studies related to health issues. Okay, so you identify that. Simultaneously, you see that the impact factor, whether it is fit into Web of Science or Scopus, and you see the editorial board also. Okay, you see the editorial board. Sometimes all the editorial board, you know some person, the renowned person in your own field. Okay, then that can be ascertained whether my article can be submitted to this particular journal, so that my article is considered to be a quality journal, quality article. That has been decided only by the researcher. So to make it very simple, better to take journals from Web of Science or Scopus. Definitely it has its own reputation, its own image. Okay, normally we call it as a brand image. Whenever we purchase any articles, now we talk about the brand image. That has to be decided only by the researcher. Sometimes I've been talking about the impact factor. I know some of the journals, they say that the impact rate is 6 or 7 or 8, and they use some terminology for that. You go through the articles published in that. Do they demand? Okay, sometimes what happens, if you give this much amount, then within 2 months, your article will be published. So don't carried away by that. Because often I see in my over 33 years of research experience, I feel that sometimes there is a demand from the university where you're supposed to have minimum of 2 articles in CAR journal. Therefore, you search for sometimes, okay, within 2 months or within 1 month, a particular journal say that we will be publishing an article, but you have to pay this much amount. Don't carry it away by that. Though you can call that particular publication is also a publication, but it lacks quality. So that has to be determined only by the researcher. So I think this is what briefly I want to talk about these 3 aspects. And now I think it's open to you. Probably you may have certain questions. So just let me see your chat box, and I think that can gives me some idea about what are the questions you have. Just I'm going through your chat box. If you have any clarification, let me try to clarify your doubts. That is the one question. Why some good journals have less impact factor? Invariably, you say most of the renowned journals have a less impact factor. As I was telling you earlier, now the number of articles published in that particular year and number of citations received. Okay, now when often you publish or you can publish articles in a particular journal, you'll be getting a lot of citations. Okay, sometimes what happens, the article that has been published by a researcher is a substandard one, then you get a less, maybe the less impact factor. So it all depends on the calculation A and B. When you apply that particular formula, definitely you come to know that, okay, that is the reason why some of the journals have less impact factor, but of good quality. Okay, that is also important. It's not that if you have a high impact factor, of course, it is one of the parameters to determine the high quality. Sometimes, you know, even with the less impact factor, if you go through the articles that are published in a particular journal, you will be in a better position to understand. Okay, since you are a researcher, you will be in a better position to know that whether all the articles are good, whether the presentation style, even the content, that can be ascertained. I get. Okay. And if journal is indexed in a Scopus, but it is present in SCI or SCI, can it have an impact factor? Once Scopus, it has got impact factor, automatically to be reflected. Okay. See, the impact factor, as I said earlier, it is about the journal. Okay. Once the journal has impact factor, they have their own mechanism to calculate, as I was explaining you earlier. Automatically, that particularly you can use it. No problem. How to know about UGC CAL list of journal? Now, you go to UGC portal and there will be a UGC CAL list. As a researcher, you are expected to register your name. And once you register your name, then you'll be getting a user and ID and password. Then you access it. So they'll be giving in the, now earlier they have a category A, B, C and D. Now they have only two categories. Group 1, Group 2, then you have a WebAssign Scopus. You just, once you use your user ID and password, you can enter into that particular portal and you can have the science journal or arts and humanities journals are there. You click that. If you are able to identify the author, you can suggest the author, or sometimes if you are able to identify even the title, you can give the title and you can access what are the journals that are available based on your discipline. The main thing is that you have to register. Okay, you have to register with your email. Then you'll be getting a password. Then you can access it. Thereby you can see the UGC CAL list. And UGC CAL list, often you say a lot of updation are taking place. Sometimes one journal reflected in that particular period, maybe 6 months. It may not be there in that next 6 months because due to they go for a lot of improvisation. Okay, but whenever it is reflected in that particular UGC CAL list, please take a screenshot, because once it is reflected in UGC CAL list, probably you would assume that that is there permanently. Practically, it is not so. Sometimes that particular journal would have been removed based on certain drawbacks. So, as a researcher, when you publish your article in a UGC CAL list journal, my humble request is to take a screenshot so that the year in which the particular article is published or the month in which the particular article is published will be there, and that can be submitted to the university if you are a PhD scholar or if a faculty wants to get guideship, and they'll be asking whether your article has been recognized by UGC CAL list. You can show the screenshot, okay, or you can get it from archive. It's better to have an individual screenshot. that can also be submitted. That is also possible. There is another question. How to death predatory journal? Okay. See, whenever we have a original, there is also a duplicate. It is integrity of a particular person. Okay, it's quite common. Now we say that when you present it, sometimes people will hack your email ID, isn't it? See, there are certain miscreants are there. It is inevitable. When you say that good, there is also another concept called bad. Okay, when you call a particular person a good researcher, and there are also person we call it a bad researcher, isn't it? So it is inevitable. It's only the personal integrity. Okay, because to give you one simple example, now I am working in a particular college. Maybe I would have guided many PhD, and I'll be telling them, wherever I publish my article, you cite my article. So it's, I may be giving a standing instruction, okay, for all my PhD scholars or all the research scholars or all the maybe my students to quote my article, isn't it? Rather, it may be good or may not be good. So when I follow such kind of a mechanism, maybe I call it as a backdoor entry, probably that may affect the quality, isn't it? I try to influence, not based on a minimum standards. I'm not willing to go for the standard procedure assessment. Rather, I'm unwilling to go for quality assessment. Therefore, I try to exploit. So in that terms, the integrity is a questionable one. So it's basically starts from the individual. Okay, we need to have our own ethics. Therefore, we talk about research ethics. Therefore, we talk about the plagiarism, isn't it? Plagiarism, a lot of tools are available. Why? In order to ascertain that whether as a researcher, do I have integrity? That is very, very important. That is the reason why there are a lot of predatory journals are there. And sometimes, it was also, that's why they say that impact factor is 15 or 20. Even they started the journal maybe 3 years back or 4 years back or less than 5 years. They said that the impact factor is 6.8 like that. Be cautious. Be aware of it. Okay. When you go through each and every article, perhaps you will be in a better position to judge whether the particular journal has got a minimum quality or not. How to identify the interest of a journal? Sometimes they openly say that this particular issue is exclusive for health, or this particular journal is exclusive for studies related to children, or study related to women, study related to a particular area. And you go through it. Sometimes there will be a multidisciplinary journal where you can apply for any discipline, you can apply it. So you see the background, you see the details about that particular journal. It would have been given in the first 3 pages, and try to assess whether your interest is fitting into the interest of the journal. Then try to match it. Okay, that is on. How to get the update of UGC CARE list? As I said earlier, so UGC CARE list, often there is a lot of modifications going on. Some of the journals are deleted. So my suggestion is that once in a week, you just go into the details of that, whether it is accepted or not. Perhaps, maybe in the month of January or in February, you see that the particular journal will be there. Maybe in the month of March, they would have removed. So you see that once in fortnight, once in 15 days, or once in a week, just use your email ID and use your password, just have a browse, so that you'll be updating that, or at least once in fortnight, maybe 15 days. Perhaps if you are a very busy person, maybe once in a month, at least access to that, so that you'll be in better position to get the clarity. but individual mail ID is important, registration is important for UGC CAR list. Don't believe that sometimes you get a list of journals UGC CAR list suggested by X or Y. Don't believe that. You personally have your own registration for CAR journal, then you can assess. Yes, Publish or Perish is one of the software used to assess the plagiarism check. There are a lot of software that are available. Since that is not my area's focus today, just I have not included that. One person has asked how to find out the citation index for my research article. My simple example is that create a Google Scholar for you, as I was showing, and automatically you upload your article and you can get your citation index, you can get H index, or even you can get I-10. You would have seen that the graphical presentation, all these things will be that because it's purely individual wise. Okay. So better to create a Google Scholar on for you, and you upload your articles, whichever article you publish in a journal, you can upload it and you can get it individual citation, H index that can be elicited. And one question, very good question about honest in your paper. How important is to be honest? Here, that is why we talk about research ethics. Okay. See, it's all individual based. Okay. Sometimes we may be having a two personality. Outside, we may be very familiar, very accommodative, very cool and composed. Perhaps the inside. For example, now, assume that if a student of mine passes in my street, just I was standing, maybe I can call that particular student. When he wishes me, I call, okay, why don't you come? And immediately I'll be saying, why don't you have a cup of coffee, or why don't you have a lunch or dinner with me? Perhaps that may be from my lip or it may be from heart. Am I right? So it all depends on the individual. As a researcher, we need to have our own ethics, our own principles, our own values. Then if we have that kind of an attitude or a mindset, definitely we may not fall prey to that. See, sometimes what happens because of the external demands, and most of the universities, when they want to submit their dissertation, they insist that minimum of 2 articles must be submitted in CAR listed journal, UGC CAR listed journal. Now, assume that if a person is not that much competent to write the articles, what will happen? He may search some other help or some other he wants to publish it. So at that time, what happens? That particular person compromise his own values, compromise his own principles. In that context, what happens? Because of the external demand, he or he is forced to use some article, prepare some article. Sometimes that may be unscientific. Maybe that may be a cooked up data. That is also possible. The integrity is based on the individual. Okay. Sometimes what happens, I could see some of the studies in social sciences. I would have collected the data for 60 respondents. And what happens if I know statistics well, I can convert 60 into 2, which means 120, maybe 50%, or I can convert into 2. That is also possible. Probably in reality, I would have collected only 60. Since I know the statistics, maybe I can double it. Okay, but perhaps others may not be knowing that by seeing the table, percentage analysis, mean or median, they won't be showing, because I won't be showing all my schedules to others. Only the analysis part or the methodology part or the findings part or the interpretation part I'll be telling. So it depends. It starts with an individual. Okay, the integrity of that individual. Likewise, some people, they are good in that No, they have their own journals. Sometimes they try to compromise in order to help the researcher, because they don't want to spoil the researcher submitting the PhD thesis. Therefore, sometimes what happens, it happens. But as a researcher, I have to say that integrity is very, very important. We need to follow the research ethics. That is purely depends on the individual. Yes, I'm going through the chat box. What are the questions you have asked? And one question is asked, what is the normal time to publish the article? Now, to my experience, one article I published in British Journal of Social Work, you won't believe it took nearly 1.5 months to publish that article. Okay. So I received two comments from the referees. They asked certain clarification, then I submitted, and again it was reviewed. So it depends. It depends on your topic, the importance of your topic, and depends on the reviewer also. Perhaps the reviewer would have expected certain things that is not explained properly. Therefore, they may ask some clarification. And if you're giving an appropriate clarification, automatically that will be published. So normally, since it will take maybe 6 to 1 year, it depends. It depends on that. Depends on the reviewer also. Sometimes the reviewer takes maybe 3 months or 4 months like that. Now it's similar to that of getting a PhD viva voce, isn't it? It will be sent to 3 or 4 experts, external examiners, and normally they give 2 months time. And sometimes the external examiner take more than 2 or 3 or 4 months. Probably university may send maybe sending the warning, or sometimes they sending that repeated reminders. Likewise, it depends. Okay. I think some of the questions are already answered. Just I'm seeing the chat box. See, in UGC CAD education, they have a review mechanism. So they may be having a once in month or once in 2 months, they review the entire process and they try to add, or sometimes they delete. Okay. So they have a mechanism, experts are there, and they try to evaluate the quality of the articles and quality of the journals. Based on that, they try to either add some more journals, or sometimes they delete some of the predatory journals which they think that they have done something wrong. And if you're accessing the UGC CAD journal, I said you have a list of journals for even for English, arts and humanities. If you type the discipline, automatically it will give the list of journals, and you can identify. Once you click that, then it will give the entire detail, okay, about the impact factor. From that, you can select which impact factor and whether it's a good journal or not. That all you can see it. most of them are asking about the printed journal, how to select a good journal. You are an expert. Okay, you are an expert in deciding which journal you want to publish. Okay, so if you go for Web of Science or go for Scopus, you can find a lot of good journals of your own interest. Try to identify the topic and try to see that whether your topic is matches with the particular journal, and you can publish it. In multidisciplinary journal, you can publish any article because it applicable to all the discipline. So you can carefully select. If you are interested to publish your article in a specialized area, then you search for the specialized journal. As I said earlier, specific area or specific theme, environment. Then you see that there will be a lot of journals related to environment. Your nature is there, you can publish it. So you are the best judge to select the journal. Exam is not currently accepting submission. That is the reason why I said, no, whenever your article is published in a particular journal, when it has been reflected in a UGC CAL list, better to take a screenshot. Okay, perhaps the next 2 months, probably they will remove that particular journal, but you can very well say that during that point of time, my article has been published in that particular journal, which has been listed in the UGC CAL list. You need to have some evidence. That is why I used to tell my research scholar, whenever your article is published in a UGC reflected journal, please take a screenshot of it so that you have an evidence on your hand, and that evidence can be only thing we need to have some justification for that. You need to have a screenshot. Probably your guide may be in a better position to explain all these things. I think many of you have some difficulties in the feedback form. That is why I see in the chat box. I think a sister is working on it. Some of you ask about the plagiarism. That's a big area. Normally, now people talk about Urkund. Okay, UGC has suggested that even in our university has Urkund. So that can be, you can have plagiarism. There are a lot of free plagiarism check also. There are a lot of plagiarism tools are available. That's a big area. Probably maybe the next time I'll try to address on that. Turnitin is another software used for identifying a plagiarism. I think I have addressed most of the questions asked by the participants. If there is no further clarification, thank you very much. I like to thank the management of Jayaraj Annavakyam College, especially the sister who is a convener for organizing this particular webinar program. I will also thank all the participants for your patient listening. I hope in the days to come, definitely we expect a lot of good articles from you in terms of your publication. Thank you, Reverend Sister Fatima Mary, for having given me an opportunity to share my experience on citation, H-index, and impact factor. Thank you.
Thank
If
you,
have
sir.
any- Tell me, sister.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sister.
Sir, your talk was more informative, and also you cleared all the doubts and queries. Now we move on to the end of the session. Vote of thanks. It is an honor and privilege to conclude the two-day webinar by expressing my heartfelt thanks to all. First of all, I thank the Almighty God for His grace by making the two-day webinar a fruitful one. It's my great pleasure to thank Dr. A. Uma Samuel, Dean and Associate Professor in Social Work, Bishop Eber College, Trichy, Tamil Nadu, for his very informative talk on research publication with a special reference to citation, impact factor, and H-index. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's my immense pleasure to express my sincere thanks to Reverend Sister Dr. P.J. Queensley Jayanti, Secretary and Mother Superior, and Reverend Sister Dr. S. Zesurani, Principal of J. Rajanapakyam College, for their constant support and encouragement, and also for inaugurating and felicitating the webinar. Thank you, sisters. I am very glad to accord my profound thanks to Dr. Sister Josita, Head of the Department of Computer Science, and the other professors and technical assistant, Ms. Bhuvana, for their technical support on this webinar. I extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Mrs. J. Preeti, the organizing secretary, for her cooperation in all the activities for the success of this webinar. I would like to convey my sincere thanks to all participants for making the webinar a grand and meaningful one. Once again, I thank you all. Be happy and make others happy. We end the session. Thank you.
Thank you, sister. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.